Hi guys, it's Maggie, and I'm going to be reflecting on my experience for the field work for Intro to Therapeutic Recreation. So like many students, I completed my 25 hours through Easter Seals, Wisconsin at Respite Camp, but I also went to Waubee a few weeks later, and I want to talk about that experience because I think it's really important, and if anyone's interested in both camps, they can kind of hear different perspectives and what was done at both camps. And right off the bat, it was just great to see so many UWL students in the TR major or not even in the TR major. But it was also a really cool way to meet other people from different universities like UW Whitewater, UW Oshkosh, that had similar career goals but were in different majors. So that just really made me feel really comfortable and really at home. So Easter Seals serves a bunch of different populations, anywhere from autism, Down syndrome, CP, ODD, ADHD, just all different ranges of disabilities. So you could have 30 people in the room, all with a disability, doing the same activity, which I just think is so cool. So at Respite Camp, I worked with a 14-year-old boy with low functioning autism, and he was also pretty nonverbal. And at Waubee, I had an adult with CP and a mild cognitive delay, and he was wheelchair bound. And then 3 other adults, which were pretty low in functioning for autism, but were also all nonverbal, but nonverbal in their own different ways, which I'll get into a little bit later. And since Easter Seals is a camp, there's so many different opportunities that Respite and Waubee have, such as different activities that they have in different rooms that they can use for recreation activities. So things that I did similarly at both camps, Respite and Waubee, were arts and crafts, games such as basketball or get to know you games, lots of random weird dancing, whether it was at the dance that was hosted or just in the hallways. And specifically at Respite, I sang a bunch of Wheels on the Bus in a really awful high-pitched tone because I can't sing, but my camper loved it, and that's what he was really fixated on, so that was good for him. And we also played a lot in the sensory room, which had a bunch of different sensory objects that they could kind of touch and feel, and then a ball pit and a swing. And my camper really liked being in there, and so I was able to kind of create games and challenges through different objects in that sensory room. And at Waubee, I did the transitions camp, so they're working on life skills such as cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping, and laundry. So we took a grocery trip where the campers not only got to walk through the grocery store, but have a list and pick out the items that were on the list that were for our cooking activity we were doing later. We also were planning for the future event that Waubee is going to have in March. We also worked on our resume and then did fun things like building a snowman and going on a candy cane walk. And so both of these camps were different in ways, but also similar. So my experiences were different, which is what I really, really enjoyed about getting a taste of both camps. So Respite Camp. That was, again, I was more one-on-one with a camper, and the best part of the experience was that my camper's mom was super nervous right away, which might not really seem like the best thing, but it gets better, and she was super nervous. She was really unsure if she should even be sending her son to camp, if he would be okay with being away from home, and she got my number, and she was texting me so much throughout the weekend, especially on Friday night, just paragraphs after paragraphs, and it was really helpful, but I could also tell that she just was super nervous, even though I reassured her that her camper would be in good hand. And by the end of the weekend, the texts got less frequent, and they got shorter in length, so it was really nice to see that she was just able to be relaxed and get the much-deserved respite. And so when she came to pick up her camper, you could just tell that she was totally different from when she dropped him off. And she could tell that her son had a great time. And she was already planning on sending him back and was wondering if I was going to be there so I could work with him again and build that rapport. But something she told me is that her camper is a quadruplet. And he has pretty low functioning autism. And his other brothers both have more mild autism, and the other one does not have a disability. But it was the first time that they got to go out as a family and have dinner together and share that moment while her son was having a great time at camp. So that just really reassured me that the respite I was providing for her son was really beneficial for her and her family's relationship. Now at Wabeek, things were a little different, and I was playing hangman with my camper. And playing hangman once or twice, it's pretty fun, but playing it 16 or 17 or about 42 times, which is how many times I played, you might think that's super boring. And it got a little challenging because I was running out of words, so I ended up doing things like I love cheese fries. But it was really rewarding for me because I was playing with my camper, who was nonverbal but understood verbal cues and commands. But the way that he communicated back with me is that he would sign. So if I would write out the word, he would sign A, and I would know that that was an A. But at first, when he was doing his sign language, I totally forgot my whole alphabet. And so by playing with him over and over again, I was able to remaster the ASL alphabet and basically relearn how to finger sign, which came in handy with him throughout the weekend. So that was just really cool and something awesome that I was able to gain. Now, I did have so many positives, and the positives definitely did outweigh the negatives, but like anything, there were some challenges. So at Respite, I think my biggest challenge was learning how to deal with my camper's physical tics. And those physical tics were things that occurred when he got overstimulated or stressed or angry. And those things were biting of like the wrist or the thigh or slamming his head against the wall or a table. And so what I kind of had to learn was that he was doing these tics to let out aggression or to let me know that he was being overstimulated. So it was incorrect for me to tell him to stop doing that because this was how he was getting out his frustrations. So instead, I just had to make the environment as comfortable as it could be, whether that was just trying to move him into a quiet room right away, or if he was like hitting his head against a table, put my hand or a pillow there so that he was hitting a soft object and not potentially bruising his head. Now at Wabeek, I had 4 campers and another counselor with me, which was awesome, but most of the about 3 of those 4 campers really did need one-on-one time. So it was just really hard to balance out spending time with each camper and helping each camper with their various needs. But it also just was really challenging because sometimes I felt like the other counselors who were there were not really kind of helping in when you could see that there was help being needed with my other campers. So it was just really challenging because I kind of had to learn how to speak up more and ask for more help where I thought that the help was obvious. So since I went to Easter Seals twice, that obviously means that I really enjoyed it, and I already have like 6 dates on my calendar for next semester to go. So obviously the advice that I would give someone who's interested in volunteering or even potentially working at this location is just to do it. Even if you don't like it, that's just 2.5 days that you spent there, and you probably learned something even if you didn't like it. But I would just say do it. Everyone who comes there and who works there is there for the same reason, and the reason that they respect people with disabilities and that they want to help improve that person's life or have them have a great weekend away from home, and to also give those parents or caregivers the much needed respite that they deserve. And the people who run the camps, specifically Cindy, Rachel, and Anna, they're just all super helpful and super knowledgeable in the TR field. And I just had never felt like a question that I asked them was a stupid question. And even if I felt like it was a dumb question, the way that they responded back to me and answered was just in such a friendly and happy and outgoing way that I never felt like I was being talked down to. And another personal reason why I love doing Easter Seals so much is that since I'm a transfer, it was a super great way to meet other people in the TR major and to kind of see some familiar faces and also start building on those friendships. So I really enjoyed that, and it's just a really good way to bond with other people who will probably be in your classes in the future. And this weekend, like I've mentioned, was a great learning opportunity for me. So something that I learned about myself was that I'm pretty good about thinking of different tricks to do on the spot for helping with like behavioral challenges or behavioral problems that occur. And just knowing that I have that skill in me is something that's going to help me a lot in the field of TR. And then kind of learning about TR is just learning more about Cindy and Rachel and Anna's job and what they do and how their work really affects the community and affects all the campers and the campers' parents. So I really like that. And I cannot talk about Easter seals enough. I could probably talk for another 35 to 40 minutes, maybe even an hour about Easter seals, but I just really think it's a great way to get yourself exposed to working with people with disabilities if you never have before, or maybe you've been working with people with disabilities for the past 4 or 5 years and you just want to continue that. So I hope everyone, if they haven't gotten the chance to go to Easter Seals, can find a time or a weekend to go and either volunteer at Respite Camp or Camp Wabeek, because it's just a really great experience that will get you that exposure, that will help you learn new things about yourself and about disabilities. Thank you.